What is up, guys? In today's video, we are going to be watching a video from Ty Fries about things that you will never see in Fortnite again, or things that you're likely to never see in Fortnite again. His video will be linked down in the description below. Let me know in the comments something that you don't think will return, but you would like to return. So my answer for that would definitely be Siphon. I think it was one of the greatest updates in a video game I've ever played ever, where they enabled Siphon in regular matches. And so anytime you eliminated someone, you would get 50 health or shield immediately. And it just made the game a lot more fun. It kind of decreased that RNG when it was a struggle to get shield and helped you deal with third parties better. But I don't think Siphon will ever return to the regular game the way it was then. We've had it in competitive for years after they removed it in pubs, but they've also kind of reworked it in competitive tournaments to not be the same. We've had medallions that gave you this. We had like a pseudo siphon-esque style thing with these superhero ranks and super giving you some HP, but I don't think regular siphon will ever return, and I would expect it to be on this list.
We're going to talk about some things in Fortnite history that were once in the game, but I believe will never come back again. I don't think we'll ever see these items, features, weapons, whatever, ever again in Fortnite history. This list can count anything besides skins or cosmetics, right? I want to leave that for a separate video because there's obvious reasons why some of those,
I hope Iron Man never comes back. I hated his gloves.
Those specific collab ones might not come back. This video is just going to be features, game mechanics, weapons, etc. that in my opinion will probably never come back. If you do go on to enjoy this video, consider leaving it a like using code TYFRIES in the Fortnite item shop, and let's get right into this one. So the first thing that I believe you will never see again in Fortnite history are full-length collab seasons, right? And I'm not talking about mini seasons, right? And mini seasons are part of the...
That's a good point. So like the two collab seasons we've had recently have been the Star Wars mini season and then now the Simpsons mini season. It seems like they're using the mini seasons to kind of be the collab thing. And I think that makes the most sense. I think it's not great if there's a full-length collab season. We had the Marvel season last year, and it was all right, I guess. But I think people are more accepting of a collab season when it's a mini season. And I think that also gives Epic more freedom to, like, go hard on the collab, like the Star Wars season, all the Star Wars blasters and everything. The fact that it was only a few weeks long, I think makes that work. But if it was a few months long, I don't think they would have gone that hard. So I think it gives Epic more, like, creative freedom, and then also... makes it less annoying for the people that don't really care about the collab. I'm interested to see with the Simpsons season how unique it actually is, because with the art that we've seen, we know that the Thunder Shotgun and then either the Scar or the Striker AR will be returning. So it's not like the loot pool is going to be entirely Simpson stuff like how the Star Wars season was.
The problem, right? Think about Chapter 2, Season 4, right? That is the definition of a full-length collab.
I didn't play then.
The entire battle pass.
The first Marvel season was very well received, but I was not playing then. The second Marvel season, I think, was more divisive.
Almost every new item that was added to the game, all Marvel, and it was a full-length season, right? That's what, 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 months. I don't think you will ever see this again because of mini-seasons, right? Galactic Battle is a collab mini-season. The Simpsons season that's coming out is a collab mini-season, and there's rumor that they're going to continue doing mini-seasons. So again, I think the days of having these fully-fledged, like, 3 or 4 month seasons that are, like, fully based around a certain IP are not going to happen again because they'll just end up doing it for a month for mini seasons, and if it's a hit, they'll keep doing it. If it's not a hit, then, you know, maybe they'll transition to something else. I think they're perfectly fine with the model being mini seasons can be collabs, and then having main seasons be, you know, for the most part, original characters, and then throw, you know, a collab or two in the battle pass or in the gameplay somehow. Kind of like how
yeah, like there was... Oh, he's about to say it.
In Chapter 6, Season 4, with the Power Rangers and Megazord.
Like, they're still going to have collabs in main seasons, but it just won't be the entire thing. But the way the Fortnite community talks about collabs kind of confuses me, because, like, I've seen people say this is a Power Rangers season because there was the Megazord and there was one pistol. But, like, this was not a Power Rangers season. There was a Power Rangers collab in this season, but it wasn't the entire theme and the entire, like, focal point of the season, like how we had with the Star Wars one.
Next
or the Marvel
up,
ones.
We've got a weapon, and for me, that is the pump shotgun sniper that was in the game in the early days of Fortnite. I'm talking, like, literally Fortnite preseason days. We've had shotguns that have had good range, right? The combat shotgun, the sharp tooth shotgun, weapons like that. But never again will we see a pump shotgun with range of the sniper rifle, right? More like an assault rifle range, but...
I played back then, but I used the TAC and not the pump because console was 30 FPS in the very early days. Console wasn't 60 FPS until like season 3. And so using the pump on 30 FPS just felt terrible.
Still, you're talking 50, 75 meters hitting with a pump shot.
I think they kind of fixed this either during season 1 or maybe in season 2.
Shotgun, even with the slug shotguns that you have in the game, I mean, those are the true long-range shotguns, and you're still not hitting for as far as you were with the pump shotgun sniper.
That's better damage than you would get up close on people sometimes.
You're going to be seeing on screen. To be fair, this was kind of a product of the game being in, like, its really early stages, not really having a clue on balancing the game or, you know, really what any types of weapons should be doing. The pump shotgun that we have it today is perfectly fine, but again, I want to make sure that you don't count out anything on this video, because yes, I believe that we will never see them again, but honestly, I never thought that we'd see double pump ever again. And they brought it back in chapter 6 season 4 as an exotic. I definitely never thought that they'd bring back the overclock pulse rifle.
That's true with the double pump, but it's like for an exotic I could see anything happening. Or like maybe they would make a sniper pump exotic, but it would be like its own unique thing, and it would probably have a downside as well.
And here I am looking like an idiot, right? So keep that in the back of your mind, but the pump shotgun sniper, I'm pretty sure we're never seeing that again. So we've touched on season.
Then obviously there's a Wrecker revolver that you could kind of double pump with, but that was just a weird mistake of how they decided to classify that weapon. If they classified the Wrecker as a shotgun, then like the whole double pumping of the season wouldn't have been a thing with it.
We touched on weapons, but what about an update? Update V6.21 in season 6, where 25% of explosive damage will now penetrate through.
This was the dumbest thing I've ever played in my life. It was so confusing.
Through structures and the environment. This will never happen.
So let's go back to what that did.
5% of explosive damage will now penetrate through structures and the environment. This will never happen again.
You would get explosive damage through walls. And I know my audience is mostly zero build, so you'll probably hate building. And so it's like, cool, explosive damage through walls, grief the builders. But like, it made playing the game so weird. I think they fixed it after like a day or two. Maybe even the same day it came out. It was not in the game for long, but it was just weird to wrap your head around. Imagine you're in a building, someone throws grenades at the building, and then you just die to the grenades through the building. Like, it was so stupid.
I have talked.
Imagine you're taking cover behind a tree, and someone shoots a swarm strike rocket launcher just at the tree, and you die to it. Like, it was such a bizarre update, but this was in season 6, I think he said. Yeah, it's the pumpkin launcher, so it's in season 6. And this was like kind of when there was starting to be a divide within the community of like people disliking builds. Like in the early days, the Fortnite build, the way the community reacted to builds was very positive, and people liked that it added a skill gap. But as time went on, like people started to resent that more and more. And in season 5, we had like a spray meta to counter builds, and then in season 6, they tried explosive damage through walls. But it was very, very weird to play.
About this update in a couple of videos, actually, just because of how kind of stupid it is, but also kind of how random it is and how forgotten it is. And yes, you heard that correctly. Explosive damage through walls, right? They were essentially trying to stop people from just turtling up in 1x1.
That looks fun, doesn't it?
You know what? Fine, you can sit in your 1x1, but if someone shoots an RPG at your wall, you're going to take damage inside of your builds. And yeah, look, I don't think I have to explain why this is one of the more stupid features they've ever added into the game. Like, it's actually ridiculous. And if this were to ever come in the game today, there would be an absolute outrage. They would instantly remove it. Again, you're still
there's a lot of outrage then too, and I think they did like somewhat instantly remove it.
Talking about those chapter 1 days where, you know, Epic Games still trying to find their footing. You don't
also during this like zombie update, you had glider redeploy all the time, and I actually loved that. A lot of people kind of hated it because they said that like people could just build up forever and then not worry about fall damage. But if you shot someone out and they redeployed, it was so easy to beam them. So it's like you could still punish them for overbuilding. You just had to actually like use your gun and not get the free fall damage kill. I really liked the redeploy all the time, but they ended up getting rid of that and then making it an item, and then later like an augment and stuff. But the first iteration of redeploy was just them adding it all the time.
Really see updates like this anymore, and honestly, that's for a good reason. This update was absolutely terrible. I can't believe truly that this ever existed, but it did, and we will never see this again. I can guarantee you that. We've got another feature here, and that's going to be the Mothership minigame from Chapter 2, Season 7. I've got a little bit of explaining to do here, right? Because, of course, it seems obvious to say, all right, the Mothership minigame was tailored towards an alien-themed season. We're probably not going to get an alien-themed season really anytime soon, so of course it's not going to come back. But again, remember that there have been season-specific features that have come back to the game. Think about rifts in Season 5. Now you have items that are rifts. They're all over the map. I even believe the crafting mechanic in Chapter 2, Season 6, that could come back in a different form. I mean, of course, it was in the rest of Chapter 2, but these are features that I could see with a little bit of tuning coming back. But the Mothership minigame is something that is so unique to Chapter 2, Season 7 that I don't think there's any way that they could possibly spin it off as something else. And
you just have to knock people off?
Really, if you think about it, they haven't tried anything since this, right? Like these mid-game objectives, yeah, you have the transformation mythics now, but they've never really had anything where it's like, okay, let's just take players off the map. I mean, of course, it's your decision, but take players off the map.
I feel elderly. I don't know what's going on in the gameplay. I guess they have to collect that thing and then knock each other away from it.
A separate world, have them duke it out, then you can win some loot, and then drop back onto the Fortnite Battle Royale map, right? Like, again, the only way realistically that this could come back would have to be an alien-themed season, right? The Mothership minigame was so cool. I absolutely love this feature. It is one of my favorite features literally in Fortnite history. It is so fun. I cannot believe they really haven't done anything like this since then. And, well, guys, that's why it's on this list today. Next up, we've got an absolute layup to be on this list. It's one of the rarest items in Fortnite history. It is the Eye of the Storm Tracker from Season 4. Now, look, I will say, this is one of the only items in Fortnite history I have never used. And it was only in the game, if you can believe it, for 30 minutes. That is it. They vaulted it within 30 minutes of its inclusion. And if it wasn't for the Lachlan gameplay that you're going to be watching on screen, nobody would know that this thing ever existed. It's kind of...
I thought it was fake at the time. I remember like people talking about this and I was like, I don't like... It was like a myth because like no, like he said, this is like one of the only gameplay of it. It's kind of like the Zapatron when they added that in like Season 1 for like 30 minutes.
Crazy, right? Think about it. It was only in the game for 30 minutes. What are the chances that someone...
But this is all the way into like Season 4 because there's Dusty Divot.
Recording like especially high quality HD gameplay of this item, right? It's kind of crazy, and all it lets you do is just see where the next storm zone is. And as you guys know, we have an item that does that, right? I mean, you have boons and augments and stuff like that that do that, but this is the main capability of the Storm Scout sniper rifle. And if there's anything that this should go to show you guys, it is how far ahead they are planning these ideas for Fortnite, right?
This is more balanced though because it takes an inventory slot.
Scout Sniper didn't come out till late Chapter 1. They are planning these seasons with their weapons for 5, 6 seasons in advance, right? That's almost a year and a half in advance. This is an item that will never come back because, one, it doesn't need to because there are other items that do this exact same thing, but also there's just really not a need for it. Next up, guys, we've got kind of a vague one here, and that is going to be long chapters, right? Like long season chapters.
I thought he was about to say no bots when I saw the battle bus and people jumping out of it.
Like Chapter 1 and Chapter 2, where you had, 10 seasons and 8 seasons respectively, they seem fully set on having chapters no longer than 5 seasons, right? Max. I mean, think about it. Chapter 3 was what? Only 4 seasons. Chapter 4, if you don't include OG, was 4 seasons. Chapter 5, the same thing, 4 seasons. And Chapter 6, if you include the 2 mini seasons, will be what? 6, right? And also, I forgot to mention Remix for technically Chapter 5, but again, basically 3 mini seasons just equals 1 regular season if you want to think of it.
Basically the chapters are a year long now ish. Like we get a new map every December
about it that way, right? So it's like they
a new main BR map
set on doing that, right? And I really miss when chapters used to be long, right? Drawn out a year and a half.
I do not
have 2 years. It really gave you this feeling of like this kind of attachment to a map or to the landmarks or certain locations. Like that's why it felt so sad to see the Chapter 1 map go and to see the Chapter 2 map go. But by the time the Chapter 3 map left, it's like, bro, I've only been here for, 4 seasons. I've been here for a year. I don't care if this map goes. And that's how I felt for every single map since then, right? Even Chapter 4.
RIP.
Which I loved so much. I'm like, I don't really care what happens to this map because I have like no attachment to it. So anyways, yeah, like I don't see them returning to chapters with long seasons. I'm talking like 4, 5, 6, 7 like actual full seasons. Moving on here, guys.
Okay, so on the long chapters, I think year is a better kind of point, and I've never really understood what people mean when they're like, oh, it's not memorable or it doesn't feel special because you're only there for a year. Like, or the whole, like, I don't get attachment to the map thing. Even, like, going into Chapter 2 within, like, a season or two, I remember people saying the map just doesn't feel memorable to them. Like, I feel like most people, the memorable maps are like the ones early on when they started playing. And then once you've been playing for several different maps, it's like each one kind of doesn't feel as special or as unique. So I feel like it's just kind of a byproduct of having multiple maps and not necessarily having less time with the map. But I don't think the long chapters would ever come back. I think he's right. Unless they drastically change the map in the midway or something, because as it is now, it feels like people get tired of a map within like a month or two. Like, I remember reading my personal YouTube comments when season 2 dropped of this chapter. A lot of people were like pissed that we didn't get a new map. Like, they thought that just like every season was a new map, I guess. But like, I feel like a year is kind of a sweet point to like obviously give Epic time to make the map, but also like allow for some development within the map in terms of like seasons changing and stuff. But I don't know. I don't agree that just like longer is better because we get more attached to the map, because I think people will just be burnt out for like a year. And that's kind of how I was for chapter 2. I quit playing chapter 2 season 3 and then came back chapter 2 season 8 because chapter 2 was ending. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll play again. I hated chapter 2. There's always going to be those maps and those chapters that don't really, that people don't like for whatever reason, and making it only a year and then we get into the next thing, I think just like keeps the flow of the game going better. And once we've kind of adjusted to this, I think it's harder to go back to like longer chapters. And in the case of chapter 1, we didn't even know chapters were a thing. Like, we had the map and we had seasons that changed the map. Like, the first time we had a map change or like a chapter change was when the chapter 1 black hole happened, and it was a surprise to a lot of people. So I feel like that's also kind of like different.
Guys, I want to talk about a really quick one. It's another.
But as I said, I think most people's most memorable maps are going to be the first one they play, and then like maybe the second one they play. It's not really about how long you're there.
Feature, it is scoped weapons with bloom. So if you can believe it, back in the day,
I didn't even know this.
Yes, scoped weapons like the scoped assault rifle actually had bloom. They were not 100% accurate. You could hold the trigger down for 10 bullets, and let's say only 2 will actually go where your crosshairs are, and then 8 will go all over the place. We're watching this.
I thought that this weapon had no bloom. Maybe this is like season 1 gameplay, I think. Maybe they ended up fixing that within like, or maybe this is preseason. I used it a lot back in the day. Like, that was my main kind of like strategy, was like get in a tower and then use the scoped AR. But I would be tap firing it and I wouldn't be like moving while shooting it. And both of those things kind of affect bloom. But yeah, I used this a lot back in the day. The headshot multiplier on it was like 90 something. And it was like really, really good.
This gameplay, you're like, I can't believe this ever existed. Yeah, I mean, again, it's just another product of early Fortnite. This will never come back for obvious reasons. I mean, you've seen with scoped assault rifles now, like the MK, the, you know, twin mag AR, the striker burst assault rifle. They're all hit scan. They're all, you know, your bullet is going to go where your scope is. So yeah, this will never happen again. I thought this was a really kind of cool one, a quick one I wanted to throw on here, because a lot of you guys watching this video might have never even known.
And back then it was so hard to get shield that like most people were not 200 health.
This was a feature. But a weapon that you definitely do remember is the ballistic shield from Chapter 5, Season 1. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see the ballistic shields in the game. Now, here's what I will say. Will we see another shield item in the game? Yes, highly likely. There will be an item where you can hold out a shield in front of you and, you know, walk forward and cover yourself. But while also holding a pistol like the ballistic shield did, I don't really know if we'll ever see that. I mean, there is a reason why this weapon was introduced in Chapter 5, Season 1, taken out after the end of that season, and we have never seen it again. And no, it's not because it was quote-unquote a projectile weapon. I think it was just way too dominant in the zero build meta, right? Like, this is a zero build crutch item, and Fortnite really doesn't like to have a loophole that relies really heavily on 1 or 2 weapons. My thinking is, like, I feel like if they wanted to bring the ballistic shield back, they would have done it already, or they would have just left it in the game after Chapter 5 Season 1.
Keep that in the vault forever, please.
Right, there were very few weapons that got vaulted right after Chapter 5 Season 1 and didn't carry into Chapter 5 Season 2. The ballistic shield's a really interesting one for me, and I'm really curious to see if they ever do anything moving forward.
It, like, for the most part, wasn't that annoying. It was more annoying off spawn, I feel like. Like, early game, it was annoying, and then in an end game, I know it was used in zero build competitive a lot. Like, in a stacked end game, it was also kind of annoying because people would just, like, buy and waste time. But the time I disliked it most was like early game, when I don't have like the weapons to deal with it yet.
with the
But if I encountered it mid-game, you just spray them with an AR, you break their block pretty easily. It's like easy kill.
shield item itself, because I could see that being useful. All right, guys, we're nearing the end of this video, but first we've got to talk about the original First Order and E11 blasters. Yeah, these are never coming back, and it's really simple. That's because they've been outclassed by newer versions. The newer version of the First Order is the F11D blaster, and then the newer version of the E11 is the E11, but it's hit scan. The original
I didn't even know there were different versions.
First Order and E11 blaster rifles
terrible.
are some of the worst weapons I have ever used in Fortnite history. They are terrible. They are projectile. They are incredibly low damage, low accuracy. Just no. Get these things out of here. If they ever want to think about bringing these weapons back in the game, they'll just bring back the F11D and the E11 from Galactic Battle, not these versions. So I think it's a pretty safe bet to say we'll never see these two weapons again. We'll just get their updated versions. And the final talking point that I want to talk about in this video, and it's kind of a fun one, right? I left this at the end for a particular reason, and that is medallions.
I hope they're gone forever.
So what are they going to do with medallions? I don't know about you guys, but this is one of the things that I've been thinking about a ton going into the Simpsons season, and more so going into Chapter 7. I mean, we have never seen them completely vault every single medallion from the game in the middle of a season, right? Just totally wipe them all. The only one we had left at the end was the Megazord medallion, but that was due to the Megazord collaboration, and it was a pretty weak medallion, right? It was a slower reveal medallion, nothing kind of controversial for them to add. I think the medallion talk is a really interesting one, right? I interact with you guys on Twitter all the time, and it feels like half the people are like, yeah, I love medallions. They give me another reason to go fight the boss when their mythic weapon might not be, you know, my weapon of choice. And then the other half of people are like, medallions are inherently broken, right? You can carry all of them at the same time. Especially the movement medallions are absolutely broken. They give you such a good advantage, and I see both arguments. I do think medallions are inherently broken, and if they're not going to take up an inventory slot, I think you should only be able to hold one of them going into the future. The thing with medallions, though, is like, after how much of a disaster they were in Chapter 6, Season 4, specifically the slide one and the double jump one, I mean, they nerfed them so much they couldn't contain them. They literally just pulled them out of the season totally. Goodbye, see you. That's kind of insane if you think about it, and it makes me wonder, in the back of their heads, are Epic Games like, you know what, maybe we should tone back medallions? And
there was supposed to be a Jason medallion for Fortnitemares that didn't come out. So maybe they are just like, yeah, it's GG's. I think the main problem is when there's movement medallions. I think for a lot of Chapter 6, they kind of did okay with it. Like, I'm a medallion hater. I wanted them gone throughout all of Chapter 5. That was my biggest hope coming from Chapter 5 to 6, was just no weapon mods, no medallions. But the early medallions we got, I thought were more balanced. Like, Chapter 6, Season 1, the Night Rose medallion, it's like, whatever. The Shogun X one that season was really annoying, but that's a movement medallion. Season 2, I didn't mind Fletcher Kane's medallion. It kind of was a movement one, but, like, the bashing was good to counter the melee. The heal bubble one, I didn't really mind. Did Super have medallions? I'm, like, struggling to remember. Oh, yeah, the Daigo medallion and Super, I didn't mind. And then the core medallion was really, really busted once they buffed it. Like, mainly the movement ones that are just really out of hand. The Marvel season, I didn't really mind any of those medallions. Like, the Siphon medallion's fine. Chapter 6, Season 2, the main problem, obviously, was the Dash medallion. Like, the movement ones are just so busted.
Remove them entirely like they did for Chapter 6, Season 4, or maybe make some adjustments to them, right? Maybe step away from movement-based medallions and just, you know, give, like, extended mag medallions or something like that.
Like, slow shield regen, Siphon, the scan, the bubble wall healing, I guess. I don't care.
Or, like, Siphon medallions are perfectly fine.
The scan medallion was busted in Marvel? I don't think so. Like, it was good, but it wasn't like... I wasn't like, crap, I have to fight this person, they have the scan medallion. That's not going to be a fun fight. But this season, if you had to fight someone that had the double jump medallion and the slide medallion, it's like, that's not going to be an enjoyable encounter at all. I feel like the scan medallion was... like, it was good and it was solid, but it was, like, not super busted. I feel like that's, like, kind of the power level medallions should be at.
I think it's a really interesting talk. Please let me know in the comment section down below what you think about medallions as a whole. Do you think they'll return the Simpsons season? And better yet, do you think they'll return in Chapter 7? Alrighty, folks, that's all I've got for this video. Of course, this was just kind of off the top of my head here. Put this list together real quickly. So if there's anything you think I forgot, please let me know.
I think Siphon would be the big one. Seasons without cars would probably be a big one. I'm like a vehicle hater, but like the fact that they sell the cars in the shop now, they're probably not going anywhere. But that also means like those old car models probably aren't coming back. It's like the way cars were balanced when they initially came out, I don't think will ever return. The mechs, I don't think will return to the core game. The armored battle bus, the tanks, like a lot of vehicle stuff. And that might be it. Like no bots and pubs, I don't think will ever come back. But yeah, let me know the thing that you don't think would return that you would like to see return most. As I said, mine was siphon as like a normal mechanic that everybody had. We had siphon medallions and stuff, but like the way siphon was in chapter 1 I think was just perfect. But let me know that down in the comments. His video will be linked if you want to watch it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.